difference in your journey to success as an entrepreneur, whether you're a brand new entrepreneur or one that is seasoned and a pro that's been around for a long time and done a lot of great stuff already in your journey. That is almost irrelevant. One thing I know is that as I've always been a student, remain a student, the more we receive information, even if it's the same information heard in a different way, the more it, I guess, reconfirms what you know, or refreshes, renews what you know, and re-inspires you to act upon what you know. So what you know is worthless. I think we all know that, right? What you know is worth diddly squat, nothing, zero value. A lot of clever people in the world know a lot of stuff and their life sucks. Who knows people like that? People that know a lot and life just is crap. Who knows people like that? Plenty of them all over the world, right? They're everywhere. So it's not about what you know. It's not even about who you know, all these little cliche terms. No, it's about what you're doing with your life. That's all it boils down to, and how you do it, right? It doesn't matter. Do it your way, but keep doing it. That's key for me. Keep doing it. Do it your way. And if your way's working, keep doing it your way. When your way isn't working, see if you can learn from somebody else. See if you can learn from yourself. Look back in your own rearview mirror. I always say your best learning place, given everything is an inside job when it comes to success, the best learning place is inside. So your rearview mirror has got tons of lessons if you're willing to learn them. And that's the key part, right? If you're willing to learn them, your life is full of wisdom. Tons of nuggets of wisdom, tons of learning. Your experiences, if you want them to be, can be lessons, or they can just be experiences. A lot of people have a lot of experience, and it's the same experience that they've always had. Who knows people that go round in circles in life, like they keep arriving back at the same place? 1 year passes, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. It's much of the same. Same experiences, different day, same stories, just different days, different dates, different years. The stories stay the same. That's not very fun. That's just called experiences. And if you've only got one life, 80 to 100 years, let's say, why would you spend 50, 60, 70, 80% of that time just having the same experiences all the time and not learning from them? So for me, it's like, what can you learn from your experiences? That's the real value of life. When you experience something, pick up the nuggets. If you're experiencing stuff that's happening with ease and you're loving it, look at what it is about the stuff that you're experiencing that way, so you can add more of those activities, those actions, to create more of those experiences in your life, for sure. When stuff works, repeat it and improve it. Repeat, improve, repeat, improve, repeat, improve. But if it doesn't work, that's a silly formula to have, to repeat and improve and repeat and improve. Why not repeat, but learn? How about you learn and improve instead? That's another option, right? You don't have to repeat the same mistakes to learn from them. How many people have exactly the same experience, whether it comes to money or relationships or health or whatever it might be, and they're just repeating them in different versions, different variations of the same story, which is all right for a while if you want. It's okay. Life is all about choices. If you want to keep repeating the same stuff, that's our choice, right? But at some point it would make sense to say, okay, enough repeating that stuff. How about I learn from those repeated same experiences and see if I can create some newer experiences, fresher experiences. So that's where growth happens, right? Learning is not about learning about other people. It's more about learning about yourself. Other people will always do what other people do. That's worth writing down. Other people will always do what other people do. When I learned that, goodness, my whole life changed. It used to be so relevant to me what other people did, what other people said, how other people behaved with me. All of that was so important to me. And one day it came to me. None of that matters. None of it matters at all. When all is said and done, none of that matters. What matters more than everything is you. How do you behave with you? How do you relate to yourself? How do you treat yourself? That's the priority. Give that maximum priority. Treat yourself with lots and lots of kindness and love and generosity. Be forgiving. Be curious, as Jim Rohn was just saying. I mean, that's got to be one of the biggest, right? Curiosity, I tell you. For me, that's what's the difference between entrepreneurs and everybody else, is curiosity, the ability to not lose our curiosity, the willingness to always be curious and be willing to learn new things from others as well as from ourselves. So all of us at some point have done something that didn't work. I was speaking to a dynamic young entrepreneur lady that just joined the business a couple of days ago, and she calls me up after 3 days of joining and says, Kalps, I've spoken to 52, I think it's 52 people, and I've got 2 people that are going to join, and 50 of them said no. Why did you wait so long to communicate? You don't have to get 50 no's before you communicate with your upline and say, hey, what can I improve? Can you see what I'm saying? Long story short, once we had the conversation, some new ideas were thrown in. Light was shone on areas that maybe were dark before. And a renewed energy came out of the conversation. Enthusiasm kicked back in. Learnings were taken. And off we went again. And then now I'm getting feedback every single day. Great. I love that. As it happens, real-time feedback, right? Feedback is a great loop you want to develop with your sponsor. It's just a sounding board. Your sponsor, it's not that your sponsor has all the answers, and they might have, but they may not have. But the fact that you have somebody that you can share your experiences with, that in itself is a learning. Oftentimes, as you're sharing your experiences, as you're rerunning them through to a third party, you pick up the lessons. Because by expressing it already, it comes out as a third party, right? Because you're sharing it with a third party rather than just keeping it to yourself. So get into the habit of sharing with your upline often. The good experiences, the not so good experiences, and everything in between. So as you start to improve your skill level, and it is about that, right? It's about improving your skill set. As you start improving your skills, there's got to be a measure. So one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs miss out on is measuring your results. This is so, so powerful, especially in the early days. Measure your results. So how many people did you speak to? I love the fact that the young lady in question knew exactly how many conversations she had. The fact that 50 out of 52 were no's was not good, but the fact that she knew that there were 52 conversations over the weekend is amazing. Know your numbers, measure your numbers, measure your progress, right? So again, it's little tiny things like that. Here's what happens. When you know that you spoke to 52 and you got 50 no's and 2 maybes, then you know once you've got the feedback, you took the learnings, you understood what you could have done better. Then when you go back to the next 50, if you've applied what you've learned, you should see an improvement in the numbers. Can you see that? It might be 48 no's and 4 yeses or maybes, or it might be 45 or 40 even, depending on how much you've improved, grown, tuned in, fine-tuned. Depending on what happened between one feedback and the next feedback, your numbers start to improve. Sometimes they're drastic, massive improvements. Sometimes they're minor improvements. Doesn't matter. But look for the improvements. When you see improvements, it's encouraging. You also know, again, that the results are feedback loops as well. Numbers don't lie. So have a look. If you improved your pitch and you still got the same results, let's say that the first 52 was 2 maybes and 50 no's. And then the next 52 were 2 maybes and 50 no's. That doesn't mean you didn't improve. It might mean that you just improved the wrong thing or not enough. So you might have improved the pitch, you might have improved the approach, you might have improved the words, but you may not have improved the qualification process, the rapport building process, the relationship building, the initial part, the pre-qualification. So have a look, where are you improving and what impact is it having on your numbers? You might be really great at what you're saying, you might just not be saying it to a qualified prospect. So then you go and improve your pre-qualification skills. How do you pre-qualify somebody to hear about what it is you want to share with them? Ask questions, get into conversation, find out about them, learn about them. Where are they at? What do they want to improve? How can you serve them? This business allows us to serve people what they want. So you've heard me say this before. Become like an air hostess. You know, like when they go up and down the aisles, tea, coffee, they don't get offended. They don't get upset. They don't get wound up when people say no. They're just serving, right? They're there to serve. Like developing that kind of a mindset helps you not take it personally and not get not feel down when you get 50 no's out of 52. How do you still maintain an upbeat attitude and an upbeat mindset so that the next call is as powerful and as enthusiastic and engaging as the first call? Your first call, if you follow nature, should be your most enthusiastic call. Why is that? Because you've just seen something off the chain insane. You're super excited. You've seen possibility for yourself. You've seen a window or a door open for you. You've seen an opportunity to do something magical. At this point, your excitement is at its highest level. Your enthusiasm is at its highest level. Maintaining that is a skill. Most people's enthusiasm will go from here to here as each call happens. That's called human nature. It's natural for enthusiasm to wear off over time in anything and everything. It's absolutely natural. So you've got to learn how to bring it back into the game. How do you bring enthusiasm back into the next call? Why should your second call receive less of you than the first one? Why should your 20th person you're speaking to receive less of you than the first one did? Can you see this? Imagine you develop the ability to bring your A game to every call like it's a first call, because it is for that person. The person on the receiving end, they're hearing you, they're experiencing you for the first time. So for you, it's a similar experience. For them, there's nothing similar. There's no background, there's no history, so there's no reference. So you got to bring your A game to every call. Every time you pick up that phone, Control-Alt-Delete. Take the good stuff forward, let go of the stuff that you might be holding on to that will take away from the next experience. These are skills, right? You've got to work on this stuff. You work on that when you're aware, when your awareness is high, when you're working at a conscious level, then you are able to almost see what's happening while it's happening. Just follow me here. Imagine being able to see what's happening while it's happening. It's a whole different level of operating. Observing yourself while you're doing what you're doing. It's massive. As you start spotting the gap, you can step into the gap, right? And say, okay, let's improve that. You'll see yourself losing enthusiasm, losing rapport, getting upset, getting wound up, getting hooked, getting caught out, relating to something they say to something in the past. You'll see the patterns. You'll actually, it's like matrix stuff, this, right? You'll actually be able to see where you're losing power in a conversation. Just spotting that stuff allows you to then start improving it going forward so that it happens less often. So it's about giving yourself the advantages, right? Improving your ability to deal with that stuff as it's happening in real time, so you can more often than not start interrupting yourself while it's happening and renew yourself. This is why I say that this stuff's not easy, but it's simple. I hope you're starting to see that, right? It's simple. The simplicity is really, really like clear. The complexity is us being human. We are prone to doing all the stuff that we know doesn't work. Just like we know what works, we also know what doesn't work. But we still do stuff that doesn't work, right? How many times do you leave one call upset and you take that feeling, that emotion, that experience forward? As much as you try and patch it up, as much as you think you're not carrying it forward, guess what? It's energy. It's just energy. So until you release it, it naturally carries forward. Automatically, it carries forward. So on the next call, your words might be right. Your pitch might be right. You're saying the right things. You're saying them at the right time. But who is saying them is not the same person. And that can make all the difference. So you got to literally kind of learn to wipe the slate clean at the end of every interaction and go back to your optimal self. Go back to your fine-tuned, trained, skilled, capable self. You can't attend these kind of trainings on a regular basis and not improve. It's not possible mentally. It is possible to improve mentally and not improve in activity. That's perfectly possible. That's what I mean by a lot of people know a lot of stuff, but it doesn't show up in their life. You can know it, but until you're practicing it, then it's all theoretical. And you don't build networks in theory. Nobody gets to the top of any plan. Nobody builds anything substantial because they read about it or listened to a tape or audio about it, watched a video about it. Nobody. That is like, I'd say 5% is in the reading, watching videos, interacting with uplines, coming to events like this is 5% of the learning. 95% of the learning is in the trenches while you're doing it. If you can learn to learn on the job, that's where you have breakthroughs. Learning while you're doing it, right? So that you don't have to burn 50 contacts before you realize there's a pattern developing, that you're almost taking that into the next conversation. It's an inevitability. Can you see that? If you've had 5 no's in a row, you're taking that into number 6 on autopilot without even realizing you're taking it in there. You've got no clues. You're blindsided. You're completely in the dark about it. It's what we call a blind spot, right? You've got no clue you're even doing it. So you affirm, you look in the mirror, you do your Rocky move, you tell yourself you got it under control, but guess what? If you haven't learned to control or delete that experience, you are carrying it straight into the next conversation. And unfortunately, person number 6 gets 1 + 2 + 3 + 4 + 5 thrown at them. More of the same. So this is what I mean by fine-tuning yourself. How do you show up in every conversation a brand new person? Imagine if you could do that. That's huge, right? That happens by, write this one down, being present. One of the hardest things to do. Being present to them. Tough one, that one, big one. Because by nature, human beings from birth train ourselves to live in the past and live in the future. It's a default mechanism for every single human being on the planet. We live in the past and the future. I'd say less than 1% of the planet lives in the present. It's almost impossible to live in the present, to be honest. Almost impossible to live in the present without training. Because the hardwiring is decades and decades, and it's embedded. They say a human being learns everything in the first 7 years and then builds on that. Which means if your first 7 years were taught to you by normal human beings, guess what? You are hardwired for normal. so rock solid, hardwired for normal that you don't even know how hardwired you are. Can you see? That's why personal development takes so much work. It's insane how much you've got to invest in yourself every single day, as often as possible, and it's still not enough. Like, unless you become a monk, right? You cut off from the world, cut off from human interaction, you go off onto the top of a mountain and hum for the rest of your life. It might take a decade. If you cut off from everything for 10 years, then you might get a shot at reinventing yourself. Which is why when people come back down off the mountains, people are like, oh my gosh, Holy One, you know so much, you're so wise, wow. It took everything to get to that point of being present. But what we can do, while we are juggling the lives that we've built, if we've built lives in the normal world, where you've got family, you've got friends, you've got relationships, you've got interactions, you've got a life, basically, which is what most people have and should have. Why not? That's why we're here as humans, right? I don't believe we were born to sit on a mountain and do nothing with our lives. I believe the real enlightenment happens, like I said, on the ground, in the trenches. So the best we can do is practice being present ongoingly. And that's what I mean by observing yourself, watching yourself while you're doing what you're doing, checking in on yourself, right? Like being your third party. Imagine you could be your own coach. Like you could spot the gap. That's what I'm talking about here, self-empowerment. Where you can spot the gap in your own thinking and in your own actions. This is powerful. You can literally turn every conversation around in the middle of a conversation when you start practicing this stuff. I've done it millions of times, or I'm exaggerating, but I've done it enough times to know that I can do it. Mid-conversation, it could be going in a direction that I don't want it to go. And if I'm awake enough and present enough, I'll go, okay, what can I do here to turn this around? And literally I'll witness turning it around. I've done it enough times, and so have many other people around the world, to know that you can do that. So even in the middle of a conversation, if you feel that they're not getting what you're trying to say, it's not about them not getting what you're trying to say. Have a look at who are you in that moment and how can you shift gears so that you can connect with them. It's all about connection, right? Once you connect with the other person, not just at a mental level, but at a heart level, if you can learn to connect with where they're at, what are they experiencing while you're communicating with them? If you can connect with that part of the communication, that's where magic happens. Stepping into their world. Some of us are not brave enough to ask those kind of questions, right? So ask the questions. Listen, where are you at right now? Is any of what I'm saying making a difference? Ask them. Middle of a conversation. Say, look, do you know what? I can go on and on about stuff. I can sit here and try and convince you of all sorts of things, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to convince you. I want you to get this for you. Is there a resistance we can talk about? Is there a hesitation here that we can talk about? Is there something that you need to voice so that I can move forward with you in this conversation? Speak at that level. That's not normal. Can you see that? That's not normal communication. So in that moment, it's like you're being a superhero for yourself. You're bringing out your, what I call your A game. All right. So just notice when you're not doing that, how those calls are left. And when you are doing that, how those calls are left. And you'll see a big difference. There's power in power. Yeah. When you get in touch with your superhero, that's where influence happens. That's where you move conversations, you move people from one frequency to another. You can move people from one energy state to another. Our feelings determine our actions. Our feelings determine our actions. So if we can learn to bring ourselves into a good feeling, then we're going to have good actions. But what if we could do that with others as well? What if we could get other people into a good feeling state? Do you think that you might be able to improve the action they take? Can you see? If feelings determine actions, become a master at getting people to feel greater than they feel. Get them into a great state of mind first, or even during a conversation. Improve the way they feel about themselves and their ability to do something, to be someone. Knowing most people don't believe in themselves. And you got to know this, right? Not in theory, you got to know this, like know it. And how can you know it? Because it's inside of us already. Most people do not feel good or great most of the time about themselves because they are carrying history. If you can make them feel good about themselves, that's what we call belief building. If you can get them to see that they're worth more than they tell themselves they are, that they're better than they're telling themselves they are. If you can learn to help a human being feel good about themselves, chances are they're going to make a gooder decision. Like, really, I'm simplifying it here, right? But that's how it works. People that feel great make greater decisions. Doesn't matter what the information is. Some of us think that people join because of the information. I can promise you it's got nothing to do with the information. Everyone's got the best information in the world. I've never met a networker on the planet that thinks that they've got a shit deal. Every single networker thinks they've got the best deal on the planet. It's nothing to do with the information. Information is always great. That plays a very small part in the grand scheme of everything. Oh, they didn't join because they thought this part of the comp plan was like this, or they didn't join because the color of this CEO's eyes wasn't right, or no, that's all nonsense. They didn't like the tone of the speaker, nonsense. You can have the most rubbish speaker presenting the plan in the most horrible way and still get a yes if the person is in a great place and they know why they're there. And you can help them see possibility in what's happening in front of them, that this is a vehicle for their financial freedom. Can you see that? So prepare them for that. Before they come to a Zoom, before you invite people to a presentation, prepare them for possibility. And that's where you find out what they want. And then you hand it to them on a plate. I learned this old school, right? Old school. We were taught to pick up the guest and drive them to the venue before the Zoom days, right? Now we don't have that, so we have to prepare them on a phone call beforehand. But on the way in the car, we were taught, switch the radio off. Yeah? We used to do this whole training section where I'd say, right, what you don't do is wind your window down and blast the music and you're bouncing your head all the way to the presentation to the music and singing the song as you're going along. And you end up coming to the presentation completely unprepared. I'm going to note, switch off the radio or the tape. Wind the windows up and have a conversation with your guest. What are you looking forward to out of this event today? What areas of your life would you love to improve? Because what you're going to see today is going to help you do that. Give me 3 top priorities that you want to improve in your life. Because what I'm going to show you, we're going to focus on helping you improve those 3 things first. What area of your life is the most important for you right now to have a breakthrough in? What I'm going to show you is going to help you improve that area of your life. And what you're doing is you are fine-tuning their experience. So by the time they show up at the presentation, they're clear why they are there. Doesn't matter who's presenting, how they're presenting, what information's being presented is irrelevant. You could put an Amway presentation up there, and if they're fine-tuned, they'll sign on the dotted line. Not to take anything away from Amway, by the way. I'm just saying it's a tough plan, that one, right? It's one of the toughest. It's the first plan that was designed. So yes, there have been so many improvements made in plans over the decades since that one was invented. But that's my point. Even today, Tons of people all over the world join Amway every single day. They're still the number one company on the planet, doing over $1 billion of sales every single month. Every month. After 78 years, every single month, they're still number one, fighting the top spot with Avon. But between those two, they are consistent. So if Amway can do $1 billion a month, if Avon can do $1 billion a month, and they're the hardest plans to work on the planet, you've got to build a team of thousands before you earn pennies. And people are willing to do that. Can you see? It's nothing to do with what you're showing them. What we've got is light years ahead of what they've got. Light years ahead of what they've got. Do you get that? What you have in your hands here is light years ahead of what Amway or Avon reps have. And they're outperforming you a million times over. Nothing to do with what's in your bag. It's who you are when you show up. They are the most highly trained, super efficient MLM soldiers on the planet. Invincible. Invincible. If you ever meet them, if you're ever blessed to meet them, you'll see. You try and get an Amway rep to join your business. Anyone that's been in Amway for more than 3, 4, 5 years, no chance. Good luck with that. They'll get you in. They will get you in before you get them in. It's a great training ground. Go try it out. Go try recruiting a seasoned Amway rep. Not somebody new that's just joined them. That's an easy win, that one. I'm saying go and try and get one of their people that's been there for 3, 4, 5 years. They will get you in. Watch. You'll learn a lot from them. The art of influence, the art of commitment, the art of focus, the art of communication, rapport building, dream building, all of that stuff, mastery at the highest level. And they'll do all of that for a couple of pence, because that's all they get when they recruit somebody. Like, you know, it's literally pennies in the pound, cents in the dollar. It's a rough plan. Here, it's insane numbers. Insane. Get yourself to what? Direct to 2-star? It's not even work. And you're on 9% to infinity. Are you kidding me? That alone is a monster business. Get to 2-star, do 10 grand a month of volume, make $1 grand a month, almost. Come on. You'd have to do 100 grand of volume to do that in one of those old plans, right? So you've got it so easy. Sometimes you're spoilt because you kind of expect it to happen for you. Are you taking advantage of how easy you've got it? What if you get to 3-star, 4-star? Like 4-star is not even a rocket science number to hit. Anyone, in my opinion, if they follow what we're sharing in these trainings, within 90 days, max, 4-star is for a brand new person doable, with no experience, no history, no understanding, no self-awareness, no personal development. From a standing start, you can get to 4-star. It's 100 grand of volume, like done deal in 90 days, your first 90 days. 100%. It's like an average of $1 grand a day volume. $1 grand a day. You could do that on your own. You don't even need a team for that. Some of you might be freaking out at the thought, right? But honestly, why not? Why wouldn't you be doing at least 1,000 a day of sales yourself? Personally, directly, on level 1. Why wouldn't you make that a goal? 7,000 frontline sales a week. Why not? Again, see the gap. I'm hoping I'm showing you a gap somewhere if there is one. Maybe you are. Maybe that is what you do. Maybe you wake up every day with a goal to do 1,000 of sales that day and you get it done. You wrap it up, in which case, freaking awesome. Well done. That's what we call rock star material. And some. You might be doing more than $1,000 a day average. 30 grand a month, frontline sales every month. And if you are, awesome. But work out your number and then stick to it. Don't deviate left or right. My cousin gave me a really great tip. He was over here yesterday. Some of you might have seen I had a pool table put in, right? So there you go. Ta-da, let me just show you. I just had that, just got completed today. I've got to show you this. How about that? Couldn't help myself. Anyway, so I've got this here, and he goes, I once had a pool table in my apartment in Thailand. And he goes, I played it for the first couple of months, and then it just collected dust. And I was like, yeah, do you know what? I can relate to that kind of, who's ever bought stuff, used it for the first month or two, and then it's collected dust. Anyone done that before? Yeah, easily done, right? It's easily done. And he said, and then somebody taught him, and he said, I'm going to teach you what somebody taught me. So here's what he said, and it's genius. He said, make a commitment that you are not allowed to leave your apartment until you've potted all the balls at least once. You've got to clear the table before you leave the apartment. And he said, if you do that, it's inevitable you're going to become really great at playing pool. What a nice, simple lesson, right? So I said, you know what? I'm going to take that on. I've got to put all the balls in the pockets before I leave, at least once a day. So there's a nice, simple little practice. Can you see what I'm saying? It's a simple daily practice. Here's what was built into his message: consistency. It's inevitable that my game will improve if I did that. Why will it improve? Number one, I want to get out of the apartment. So I've got a plan. Whenever I'm going out of the apartment for whatever, if I'm meeting somebody, if I'm going for an appointment or a meeting, I already know that I've got to do that before I go. So I now have to plan that into my life. Network marketing works when it's in your diary. Most people do it just out of their head, right? You've got to schedule time in your diary so you show up for yourself, so you build your business. Here's the other thing: consistency every day. Don't leave until you've done that. How many times have I said, recruit at least one person a day, every day for the first 90 days? Don't stop inviting, don't stop calling, don't stop any of the activities until you get your one a day done. Now, I know nobody's going to do that. But if I give that extreme example, at least some of you might have a go. And you might accidentally hit the target. Who knows? But if you commit to one a day and you end up getting 2 or 3 a week, that's not a bad thing, right? But if you don't commit to one a day, you're not going to get 2 or 3 a week at all. It's never going to happen, because that stuff doesn't happen by accident. It only happens with consistency. My pool game will only improve with consistency. Do you see? There's no other way around it. If I'm casual with it, if I'm part-time with it, the level never gets better. It's every single day with targets, with measurements. See, this is why the measurements are so important. How many people did you speak to? How many said that they come to a Zoom meeting? How many came? How many said yes? How many said no? How many said maybe? How many of the maybes said yes? How many of the maybes fell through the net? All of that stuff. Start looking at that stuff and see where you can transform your business. So anyway, that's it for today, because I've gone over again, as I do, but I want to get back in the room like I always love to. So I want to pass the ball to you guys. Tell me what you've picked up from today for yourself, because everyone's learning is different. Everyone's in a different place in their journey. What did you pick up today for yourself? And what are you committing to? What are you taking on? What are your 90-day activities? Hey, Mick, how you doing, champ? Good to have you here.
Hey, Cots, how you doing, man?
Amazing.
Not the first time you caught me on the road, but I always try to get on here. I was on holidays last week, but I just wanted to come in and just strike a note of positivity that, we can all get caught up in doing one-to-ones. We can all get caught up in doing presentations and open Zooms and all that kind of thing. And this daily or weekly adrenaline shot in the arm, I think, is undervalued by a lot of people who aren't showing up regularly. It's something I'm vowing to change now in the team. I'm going to make it a must. That's the pool ball thing. If you want to do this game, then you've got to talk to the top guy, the top trainer, the Michael Jordan of the industry. You've got to get on here and get that adrenaline shot every week. So well done. Hats off to you, man. You continue to crush it. Cheers.
Thank you. Much appreciated, buddy. And I hope you enjoyed the holiday.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Any time spent sailing is added to the end of your life.
There you go. I love that. Brilliant. Added to the end of your life.
Cheers.
Thank you. Dr. Vinod, how are you?
Hi, Kalpesh. How are you today?
Amazing. Thanks. How are you?
I'm fine. But what I find difficult is your challenging are getting difficult day by day. You told me you get 1% every day for 90 days. I said, okay, I'll try that. Now you are telling me you get 1% recruited every day. Wow, that's powerful. But I must say that's an excellent training you have given today. And I always get motivated when I see. And I say that I will be director 3-star at the end of this month. And I'm there. I'm nearly there. Last 10 days, I got 10 people signed in, not directly number one, but in my organization. So I need another 10,000 volume and I'm there. But it's only because of the training that you and Sue and everybody gives us, we are motivated to do this. I really like to thank you for all the training that you are doing. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Doc. You are an absolute inspiration to so many every time. Thank you for sharing and constantly improving your own skills and your own activities. It's so good to see people that put it into action. Paul, how are we doing, champ?
Hi, Calbs. Yeah, doing great. And what I took from it today was really the lessons that we've learned over the last, for the next 15 months. For me, writing it down, setting the goal, manifesting it, as Sue would say, the visual board, and making it happen. We've had some good success. We're on a 90-day challenge. So for me, if there was an area of my life where I was finding it quite difficult, was just the self-discipline, because I get caught up in that many different issues of what's going on around that I forget about who I want to be. I want to be a better person. I want to be a better servant leader. I want to be a better networker, a better builder, and an overall better person. So I've homed in on what I need to focus on me, because if I'm not right, then I guess I can't get anything else right. So from a business strategy, me and my partner, Kirsten McDonald, over in New Zealand, we've looked inwards. We're looking at ourselves and saying, how can we take life's lessons and what we've learned over the last 15 months, and how can we now apply them, knowing what we've learned and applying them now going forward? Because I actually think we kind of got some idea of what we're doing now. So hopefully the next 15 months will be a lot less stressful and a lot more easy and a lot more productive. So once again, Calps, thanks for your leadership, awesome mentoring. And you better get some practice in, mate. I'm a mean pool and snooker player. So next time, you better get some practice in, mate. Take care.
Game on. I'm ready.
Take care, my friends.
Thank you. Awesome, Paul. Always appreciated. Sue in the house.
Hi. Thank you so much, Kalpesh, for awesome training. I think every time we come back here, it just really reminds us to get back in the saddle, and not just back in the saddle, but back to those disciplines and habits and routines, because it's so easy to go out of that, isn't it? And I won't be surprised if there's many people here who don't even log into their account daily, who don't look at their tokens dropping down daily. Really start, for everybody, that is like a non-negotiable, to get acquainted to your account daily. And then, what Dr. Vinod said there is just really to make sure that you have at least a conversation a day. But then, you've kind of taken that to a whole other level today as well. But what I am excited about as well is, also reconnecting with my leaders. I've shared with you, this is my kind of second network marketing opportunity. And what I did in my first one isn't going to take me, where I want to get to in this one, right? So I've, who do I need to be to take me to the next level. So, reconnecting with different leaders here. And, I'm looking forward to meeting some of my leaders tomorrow, and also on Sunday as well, which will be, in-person meetings again as well, which is really, really great, just to reconnect with everybody, on a human level as well. So, I'm really taking that on to kind of push myself to meet people in person. It just creates another level, doesn't it, of connection.
100%. Wherever possible. And we say that, right? This is all about relationship marketing, and the stronger the relationships, the more the marketing comes natural. So for everybody, great tip. Whenever you can, meet with your people if it's possible, and take advantage of those real eye-to-eye, face-to-face, belly-to-belly interactions. So great job. Thank you. And do not rely on your past for your future ever. Take the lessons from it for sure, but evolve. You've got to evolve and grow as time moves forward. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Wisdom. Aaron, how you doing, champ?
First, I am great. I am on the road. But what I took from this training today, great training. And it is important. I believe, as Mick said, it's important that you come and you get your share of that medicine every single week. I have not missed any nuts and bolts since. But my thing is that I may set particular goals to say I'm going to do certain things, but then I don't hold myself accountable for doing it. And what I've taken from this, especially with that example of the pool table, I need to actually say that what I'm going to do and make sure I get it done every day, and not even if I fall short, at least I got someone signed up or I got something happen. So I'm going to set new goals. I'm going to buy some pencils that I have a whiteboard home that I have been saying that I'm going to start writing stuff on for the longest while. I haven't done it. So I need to go get the markers. I'm on my way to get the markers as we speak. I'm going to start putting on those goals. I'm reading a new book called If You Want to Change It, Change It. So that book I think that's an awesome book. And then I'm going to set that new goals to at least sign up, as you said, one person a day. Go for one person a day. And my first goal is to not sleep tonight until I get a one person sign up.
I love it. I'll tell you what happens. I know it's all about raising the bar, right? But when you have that level of commitment, who shows up on that phone call is not the person that's blasé. It's somebody that's on a mission. Do you see that? Like, to deprive yourself of sleep until you sign somebody up, you're going to sign somebody up. Like, you just have to, right?
And what I've also started doing as well, Kalpesh, is that I realize a lot of people don't know about cryptocurrency. And I did something the other night where I did a training just about big cryptocurrency basics. And then at the end of it, I said, the easiest way, how do you get involved in crypto? You can either buy, you can go on an exchange and buy. If you have issues, the banks may be blocking you. You can either get involved in some type of program. Some of them are very high risk. Or you could actually start mining, but mining is very expensive. So the cheapest and easiest way right now is to get involved in minting. And then after that, I said, if you guys want to find out how to get involved in minting, get back to me, get back to the person that invited you. And a couple of persons actually messaged me and wanted to know about minting, how to get involved in minting. So I think that was already, I just educate them about cryptocurrency, tell them what's a wallet, what's a blockchain, what is Bitcoin. And then at the end of it, I just talk about minting is the cheapest and easiest way to get involved right now. And, so that's what I'm going to start doing.
Love it. There you go. And again, making conversations easy to hear, easy to listen to as well, right? So depending on who you're speaking to, if there's a little bit of cryptocurrency awareness there, have that conversation. Look, there's a couple of ways you can get involved in this space. So what came to mind when you were speaking? You can buy and hold, or you can buy and multiply. And that's what we do. So the analogy I often give people when I'm sitting down, if you went and bought a fraction of a Bitcoin today, let's say you bought a 10th of a Bitcoin today for a couple of grand. In a year's time, you still got a 10th of a Bitcoin. And if it's doubled in value, your couple of grand has become 4 grand. Congratulations. You've done well. It's a great decision. Or you can multiply. How do I do that? Let me show you. And if you just have 2 grand worth of minting program, then in the same space of time, you now end up with multiples of Bitcoin. And if the price of Bitcoin doubles, you got multiples. It's not just 4 grand, you got 12 grand. So all of a sudden, they're like, hold on a second, that makes sense. I know. It does, doesn't it? Which one would you like? One way or another, you got to get involved, right? I can show you how to do either. I can show you how to open an account on Binance and buy yourself some Bitcoin and hold on to it. Great decision. Or I can show you how over the next couple of years, you can multiply it. Done. It's not rocket science, right? Speak to people about simplicity and that you're going to show them how to do it. Yeah. So brilliant. Thank you, Aaron. Let's get your person signed up tonight. Wrap it up. Sharon.
Hello. How
Hey.
are we?
Amazing. How you doing?
I'm very good. I'm really hot, actually. I've been spring cleaning and working. Oh, fantastic, Kalpesh. I'm loving these the Tuesdays fill, aren't they? They're just amazing. I just love the way, you've even got, people have been networking for 30, 40 years, dive to get on your calls. It is just beautiful. And I think what I love about it is you just break everything down to simplify everything. Honestly, I would miss these now. I just love them. I was doing some decorating and catching up with little bits, and I was like, no, I need to sit down and watch this. So I've took a little break. I love it. Absolutely fantastic, mate. You deliver every single week. Thank you very much for what you do. Thank you for showing up. And thank you for staying on course. And I'm really, really excited of where we're going in the future with this. Well done.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you, Sharon. Absolutely amazing to hear from you. And again, everything that I'm talking about. You're doing it yourself as well with your team. So I know what you're up to there.
I think it is so.
Challenges and yeah.
I think the challenges, and people say to me, how do you deal with challenges? And I know you put up with some stuff, and I'll go, what stuff? I don't read the negative. I decided not to take it in. You can read it, you can skim it, but you have to make a choice not to take them negatives in, because I'm telling you guys, they will eat you alive. They will kill you. They will burn you. They will wreck you. So you just have to take the positives, and remember, everybody has bad days, and sometimes we just have to put our feet in somebody else's shoes just for the day sometimes, but I'm really ready to take this to another level. I just absolutely love what we've got. I'm in love with Wee.
I can see that happening. Like when I'm watching your threads in your groups and stuff, I can see that transition of building a business to actually loving building your business.
It is, and it's starting to come, and it's and it's not for everybody. Not everybody will jump in, guys. They may come in 2-3 months' time. We're not here. I love the way you say the pre-qualification, and I think, Kalpesh, out of everything, I think that is the key for everything. Pre-qualified people, because we're not here. We're not in the convincing game. We're here to help change people's lives, and by doing so, we'll change ours as well. And I'm excited, honestly, super excited. And I'm still going for that running. I'm still going for that thing by the end of the month.
Oh, well, love it. Let's get it wrapped up.
And I'm going away on Friday, and I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? I'm going away for 4 days, but I'm hoping I'm not going to work. So I've got some plans up my sleeve. So I'm trying to make this thing happen.
I love that. So again, see, you can take 4 days off, but make sure whatever you were not going to do on those 4 days, you get it done before you go and not after I come back. Love that approach as well.
I really have to get it done. Seriously.
Love it. Get it done before you go. Brilliant approach. I'm in. Grandpa Crypto in the house.
There you go. Good evening. And
Hey,
you see there, you've also got on the screen Birthday Boy from Sunday.
Yes,
Happy
we have.
Goran. Yes. Many happy returns of Sunday, Goran. And I feel like
Thank you, Andy.
It's a pleasure, sir. A bit like after the Law May Show Me, there's Dizzy was kicking around just now, and you got Sue and you got Sharon. Goodness me, and there's just little old me now. I mean, it's amazing. I think what I got from tonight, which is absolutely amazing, your Tuesdays are just wonderful, is the consistency bit, doing something every day. And As you know, I have sort of been a bit lax in the last couple of weeks, really. Been on holiday and things, but now I'm getting back into the mood. I've done quite a lot today. Believe it or not, it was nothing to do with that. I deleted about 15,000 emails off my account, and I've unsubscribed from hundreds. I spent nearly 2 to 3 hours this afternoon. Because every day I'm just looking at it. I got to get rid of this lot. So I had a consistent day. I also want to know who you got to lift that bloody snooker, that pool table all the way up to your flat. I bet that was a struggle, wasn't it?
Yeah, it came in bits and bobs. It's so freaking heavy. It's a slate table, so it's hugely heavy. So no, it took me 4 hours to build it. Yeah.
It didn't surprise me when I saw it. I thought, my goodness me. I just want you to put a date in your diary, 25th of September.
All right. Remember the 25th of September. Why?
I'm coming over there for a week.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
Hey.
My daughter is bringing me out for a week.
Oh, look at that.
And another lady who shall remain nameless is coming with us as well, I believe, but we won't talk about that just yet.
Wow.
But yeah. So there'll be 3 of us coming along.
Oh, lovely.
Okay, and I believe your brother's coming out at the same time. Jay's going to be there too, he said.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Nice family get together. I'm in.
Yeah, that's good. Because last time I went out, you came over here.
Yeah,
the other thing I have to ask, I know again, when we came over in for the big do with Lope and everybody, we all sat down in the hotel and had a lot of videos done.
Funny you should say that. I just messaged today to say, where are these videos? So
good.
Yeah,
good.
I'll get that down. I just messaged them today saying, we did all these videos. Where are they?
We did, yeah. Because I did ask Sharon, and she said she didn't really know at all. So that's something for a change that she didn't know, which is amazing, really. No, there we go.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed for everything you do. Fantastic.
Thank you. Dr. Vinod, you're back.
Thank you, Kalpesh, for letting me talk 1 more minute again. You know, in life, if you make a mistake, don't wait for a few days to rectify. I made 2 mistakes today. I'd like to thank Sue Patel for really helping me in my business. And she's coming this weekend to talk to about 20, 30 of my top clients. And I'm sure they're going to take my business to the second level. And the second thing is somebody is pulling you from up, somebody is pushing me from under. And Sati Patel, who I understand doing the business in name of Harsh Patel, is already director 2-star. So they're pushing me, and Sue is pulling me. So that's the reason why I'm going up. So I like to thank both of these people from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Really great that, see, when you say that somebody's pulling you and somebody's pushing you, it's because you're aware of it. There are plenty of people who've got people in their team that are outranking them and do not see that as a push up. They're not using that as motivation to move up. They're just watching people below them outrank them. But you, being the goal-oriented kind of person that you are saying, hold on a second, I can't just sit around while my team is catching up with me. I've got to get to the next level. And then, of course, receiving the help from your upline. I love it. Absolutely beautifully explained. Thank you.
Swati would like to say just 1 minute hello to everybody.
Hello.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hi. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. And then we have, actually, before I come to the main man, I want to just come to one more person before I bring you on, Goran, 1 second. Sivuile. Go ahead and...
KP. Hello, Sir KP.
Hey, how are we doing, buddy?
I'm fine, Sir KP, and how are you?
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you so much for the top of the class motivation. You know, this session was top of the class motivation. And the KP, schools and universities do not offer brains to the brainless. Those who cannot see will never see again. You know, you have sharpened not only our skills. You have sharpened our management. You have sharpened our planning. You have sharpened our control. You have sharpened our organization. Leadership, Kalpesh, I'm happy with the team that I'm working with in South Africa, Lunga and Luyaka. they are going up, they are moving up, they are moving up, they are climbing the rung of success, you know, and they are showing me the way. And I'm telling you, come October, I'm telling you, Leadership Kalpesh, you will see what I'm doing. You will see what I'm doing. This is another project, and we are going to lift up in South Africa. You are going to see change. It's going to happen in South Africa. Through this project, we are going to work this out. Thank you so much, Leadership Kalpesh, for your support, for your motivation and your encouragement. Keep up the good work. We are going there. We are going there. I'm seeing the point where we are going to.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Always amazing. Thank you for your leadership and your extraordinary wizardry around words. Always a beautiful thing to listen to. And to round it all up, none other than everybody's upline, Goran. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Kalpesh. It's always difficult following him. He's so good. Love it, love it. What a community! What a community! And what training? I mean, someone just said it before. Some of us have been involved for 30 years, and I have. It's 32 years in 1 week I've been involved in networking. And 32, exactly a week's time. It's been 32 years since I signed the Declaration of Independence. I didn't get that independence for a couple of decades, to be honest. There were times there where there were times there when we thought we had it. Okay. You know, we had a few years of some high notes, and then all of a sudden the rug gets pulled out from underneath and you're kind of starting again. But I must say, I don't think I've ever been more confident than what we have in at our disposal now for so many reasons. I just want to say something here. You know, guys, if you're not taking notes on these sessions, you're losing valuable time. You want to be taking notes. I was just going to say, I've been 30 odd years. I just took 5 pages of notes. And every single thing that I wrote was you know, because when you're around for a long time, and I've done a lot of training, probably a lot of the training that you've done as well, Kalps, can't deliver it in the same manner as you, but you know, it's pretty hard to follow the Michael Jordan of an industry, and that's what Kalpesh is. Hopefully everyone knows who Michael Jordan and his influence, but we've got that with Kalpesh. But when you talked about your pool table, and I saw that video today, which was brilliant, I thought you were going to do what I think it was Inspector Clouseau did. Remember when he played in the Pink Panther, when he had a go at pool and he ended up ripping up the pool table? I was really hoping you weren't going to do that. But, you know, what it reminded me of was when I fell in love with Australian rules football. Now, I saw George's on here from Melbourne. My team that I've followed for 50 years fell out of the what is the finals series a couple of days ago. They lost by 1 point. And they lost because they made these little silly mistakes that you would think professionals would make. But it just shows that it doesn't matter the level of training that you go through, mistakes will happen. But if I go back nearly 50 years, I was born in Sweden. I moved to Australia. My older brother was a really good soccer player, so I just thought I'm going to play soccer. Okay, and nothing wrong with soccer. My son absolutely loves it today. I love watching it. But I went to an Australian rules football match and I fell in love with it. But, you know, you hold the ball and you've got to guide it down onto your foot. Now, for those that have grown up with soccer, you've probably seen goalkeepers, they throw the ball up and then they kick it. But in Aussie rules, you've got to actually guide it down. And I used to sit on the floor in my bedroom with a pillow on the floor and for hours on end, just practice guiding this thing because it just felt like it was slipping out of my hand all the time. And then one day, I don't know, almost by magic, one day, I don't know how long later it was probably months later, all of a sudden, I could guide this thing down. And then I swapped over to the other hand and I practiced there. And it ended up becoming a really skillful player and played professionally. But the thing is, it's this day-to-day focus on the basic skills that will determine your future. And when we got into network marketing, or I got into network marketing, I was really fortunate. I was in a company that was born out of Amway. 2 Amway Diamonds, had a fight with Amway Corporate in Australia, set up their own company, but they modeled everything on Amway. And we were so fortunate around that. Yes, I didn't make any money in the first few years, but what I learned, in fact, I used to say that the only ability I had was stickability. And that was the reality. We just stuck at it. But what we had a system of learning every single day. It was virtually brainwashed into our minds that we would read 20, 30 minutes every day, a book that was going to empower you in some way. And it sharpens your mind and it gets you enthusiastic. We were to listen to a tape, and in those days they were cassette tapes, weren't they, Cubs? You know, and then they became CDs. But I wouldn't miss a day. There was several CDs, and I ended up getting into sales. I was a school teacher, got into sales, and it became a university on wheels, that car. And then there was the association, plugging in. And I just want to congratulate everyone here. I know there's still 45 people on the call. These are the sessions you absolutely have to be on. It's the association, but it's also the mentorship, the individual mentorship. You know, Dr. Vinod, you just mentioned the mentorship you're getting from Sue Patel, who's been getting that from Kalpesh over the last couple of years, you know, in terms of the networking context. So plug in with the plugged in. That's the key. Find out who's plugged in and plug in with them. That's so crucial. But take notes, guys. You've got to think in ink. Think in ink. And there's some neurological thing that goes on when you write. You know, I used to use my iPad a bit and type it in, but it wasn't the same thing. But then I got one of these on my iPad as well, so it's a little bit better. But I still prefer to put it in here. Okay, I still prefer to put it in there because you can refer back to it. And the other thing too, guys, is you're going to be running trainings one day, and you want to build a library of notebooks. I have so many of these that I can call on. You want to build a library of notebooks, and you're going to be as proficient as someone like Kalpesh one day as well. But I just commend everyone for, standing up, because a lot of people have fallen over in the last few months, especially those that have been with us over the last little bit. And, you know, you've had the courage to stand up, look at something different, assess it for what it is, and move forward. And many of you are going to be surprised by what you're able to do over the next few months. You really are. But I would just encourage you to take those little steps, turn them into larger steps each and every day, and you're going to find that this is going to be a winner for you. Absolutely no doubt about it. And guys, there are some exciting things happening. I mean, new products on the wind, but also we're going to see people like Diego and maybe even Alessio and so on moving around a little bit more. So I think you're going to be able to get to see them in person a little bit as well without having necessarily traveled to Dubai. But congratulations to all those guys that did go to Dubai. It was a massive contingent. And congratulations to you, my friend Kalpesh, for absolutely rocking the show and stealing the show, really, with your talk in the afternoon there on the Sunday. It was absolutely magical.
Thank you.
So yeah, I just wish everyone well. Look forward to the next meeting. I'm actually on tomorrow night. We've got an opportunity meeting tomorrow night, so we'll get the link out if it isn't already out. But let's pack the room out, eh?
Absolutely. Thank you, Goran. Much appreciated. And do that every opportunity you get to get your guests in front of any of the professional speakers. Do not miss it. Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Just invite, get your people in front of the professional presenters so that you get the best presentation available. And then, the rest, as you know, is all in your hands. So, Goran, thank you. Much love. Thank you, everyone. We'll be back here next Tuesday, same time, same place, same link, with your team, with your members. Do that. Go out of your way to make sure that your members are also plugged in. You make your work a lot lighter when your team are plugged in to the bigger events. So thank you. We'll see you back here. Like we said, tomorrow night, Goran's presentation, Thursday, Sue's presentation, Friday, Dizzy's presentation. Let's pack the house.